Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today we're doing episode 21 of the It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. If you're new to my podcast, welcome. I am the Midnight Raven. If you can hear the weather in the background, we have Storm Dara hitting the UK this weekend. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the video should be fine. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am the Midnight Raven, and I have been going through a mental health journey through 2024. And we'll still be going through a mental health journey into 2025. Today, we are looking at 5 more self help journal prompts that we have been doing throughout 2024. And by the end of this video, we will have managed to have done 60 journal prompts out of 365, which is an achievement in itself that I have managed to film as often as I have, because each day through mental health can be different. Some days I'm up and some days I'm down, and sometimes I just don't feel like filming, which is each to their own. So if you want to join in this mental health journey with me, you can comment down below, share your thoughts, opinions, share stories, share advice, and I would love it if you would share this out. The more people that can see it, the more I can help. As I always say, that these are just for learning about yourself, reflecting on the past, present, and hopefully looking to the future. So, without any further ado, let's get into episode 21. So, the first journal prompt from today is number 56, and it says, does your family support you when it comes to your life decisions? So, I would say that my family support me when it comes to my life decisions, but they've not always been happy. Now, everybody has the right to decide their own life, meaning you can choose your own job, where you live, who your partner is, whether you have kids, and certain life decisions are generally made by you. But when it comes to like big decisions, like maybe having kids, getting married, maybe moving away if you have to move to a job, you can want some outside conversation, some outside advice, maybe someone that isn't your partner if you're a bit in between on a decision and you just want like a third party to hear the story or a third party to chime in. Maybe they've thought of like do's and don'ts or pros and cons that you haven't thought of. For me, I would listen to my family's advice, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the decisions that I've always made have been my own. I think at the end of the day, you can listen to somebody's advice, and as much as they want to give you their influence and their thoughts, at the end of the day, the ultimate decision is generally made either by yourself, or if you were in a partnership, it is generally made by the two of you. Now, decisions I have made in my life, having kids, where I live, have usually been made by myself. Obviously, moving house was made by me and my partner at the time. Where I worked was more me. Having kids is obviously a mutual decision. Um, but my family does support me, not necessarily agreed with everything I've ever done. I don't think anybody's family agrees with everything they've ever done. No one's going to agree on everything you want to do in your life. And at the end of the day, it is your life. You're the one living it. So sometimes you just have to bite the bullet, make the decision, deal with the ramifications. Maybe your family don't like it. And sometimes you just have to do what's right for yourself at the end of the day. Always remember that you're the one living your life, not them. Okay, next question. What are your top 3 deal breakers? Okay, so let's do top 3 deal breakers in a relationship. It doesn't say what, it just says top 3 deal breakers. So let's do relationships because they're an easier thing to have a deal breaker in. So top 3 deal breakers for me would be lack of honesty. Now, being honest with a partner should be the easiest thing possible because you obviously respect your partner, you love your partner. Honesty should come first in any relationship because if you're having a hard time, a difficult time, the one person you should be able to talk to would be your partner. if there's that lack of communication, things can fall apart. And the worst thing you can do is harbor a secret or even lie to your partner. Because as people always say, secrets don't stay secrets forever. And a white lie can turn into something much bigger. So a deal breaker for me would be honesty, lying, keeping secrets. I can't deal with something like that. I myself am honest and just want, everything to be out there in the open, because secrets can damage a relationship and make it irreparable, where you cannot come back from something. Another deal breaker would be, what would another deal breaker be? So honesty is a good one. I guess lack of communication. Being honest kind of goes hand in hand with communication, I know, but communicating. If you're having a rough time, if you're having a bad day, communicate with your partner. Look, I've had a bit of a rough day. I'm not in the mood to chat, or I need a bit of space. The worst thing you can do, like with the honesty, is not communicate. Lack of communication can be something that starts arguments, starts fights, starts making a gap between you and your partner, pulls you apart piece by piece like a tapestry. One little string comes off and then the whole thing falls apart. So honesty and communication is one way of communicating that you have between you two. If you're not communicating with each other, things are going to fall apart. Things might fall through the cracks. Things that need to be discussed aren't discussed. And then we have the snowball effect, where one thing is wrong, leads into another, and then it ends up in a big hoo-ha. So honesty and communication, although they go hand in hand, they are themselves separately very important. And another deal breaker for me would be affection. You gotta be affectionate in a relationship. It doesn't have to be like showers of flowers and cuddles and kisses 24/7. We're not talking like just swamping the person, but we're talking the little things, coming home from work and giving her a kiss on the cheek and asking how her day was, or offering to run a bath if they are having a bath that evening, maybe going in the other room and making them a cup of coffee, sitting there and asking how their day was, sitting there while they're working, coming up behind, rubbing their shoulders, going, "Are you all right? Is there anything I can do?" That little bit of affection in little tiny amounts. Doesn't have to be excessive, doesn't have to be overwhelming. No one's asking you to come home with flowers every day, because if you do, you're obviously up to something. But little signs of affection, you know, a little bit of give and take between the two of you. Put a little note in his lunchbox. He comes home with your favorite bar of chocolate because he knows it's that time of the month. You book tickets to a movie he likes, or you make sure he's got his favorite work stuff ready in the morning. And just little bits of affection can mean so much to somebody. It just shows you care. And the same with communicating to each other, and the same with being honest. All three of them go hand in hand. If you are honest to the person, you are communicating, those little bits of affection mean the world. So that is my tips to a happy relationship. There are many, many more deal breakers out there, but them three for me would be a top three. Okay, moving on to the next, hopefully not as deep. Would you say you have a strong support system? So obviously I have mental health problems. So I have depression, PTSD, and anxiety. And a support network is really good to have. Whether you have a small support network or a big support network, any support network is better than nothing. So if you have a small support network, like you just have a partner, you don't want to talk to your friends and family about your problems, I totally get it. I never used to. Or if you just talk to your family about certain things, that can be good, but making sure you always keep your partner informed. A bigger support network could be your friends, your work colleagues, and then if you have a more intense support network, it could be a therapist, it could be your doctor, it could be many health professionals within the psychiatric sector or the mental health sector. But it is good to have a support network around you. Sometimes you may not feel you need that support network. If you're kind of like me, I thought that I was strong, independent, and I could cope with anything that was thrown at me. And you know what? I'd like to say that within reason, I had. But even me, who has been through quite a lot in my life, and we're not going to go into that today, I have had a very rough upbringing with lots of things thrown at me, and I have survived all of them to where I am today. But the support network can be important, and I should have had a support network. And I chose off my own back to be this big, strong, independent woman, thinking I could handle everything. And the same is with anybody, I reached a barrier and it broke me, not the barrier. I broke. There was a few situations that happened maybe in the last 18 months, and I hit the wall of where I couldn't cope. And I kept trying and I kept trying and I kept trying, and it broke. The wall broke and I broke. And I had a pretty rough 2024, I'm not going to lie. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, 2025, I am trying to be a better me. I am trying to not rely on people more, but I am trying not to burden myself with such heavy things that I then end up struggling to a point where I have another breakdown like I did last year. Because I've had two mental health blips in maybe the last 3 years. This one was the more severe one, and I don't want to go back to the person I was, but I also have to remember that I am strong, I can be independent, but sometimes I just have to know where my limits are, and you learn that through failing, which is what I did. I tried and tried and tried, I failed, I couldn't cope. I sought help, which is the support network, which was the best thing I did. I sought help. I realized I was struggling on Boxing Day last year, and I sought help, and I got the help I needed, and I'm having counseling, and things are looking brighter. It's taking time, but at the end of the day, I've been having counseling for nearly a year. There are positive things coming out of the counseling. There are positive things coming out of having a support network. And I think if you don't have a support network, maybe have a small support network. Have a friend that you trust, a relative that you trust, a work colleague that you trust. And if you're having a really bad time, confide in them. Believe me, they are more willing to listen than you know. Okay, getting a bit intense today. Question 59. What love language do you value the most from a partner? Now, I don't know most about love languages. But again, I think the most important thing for me in a love language is the little things. The little things, the love language of little things. The asking how your day was, the text at night before you go to bed to say, hope you have a good night's sleep, the text in the morning to say morning, the little things that although they seem insignificant to somebody else, someone just texting you saying morning, how are you doing? Or how was your evening? If you obviously don't live together, can mean the world to somebody. Not only does it mean that you've took time out your day to message them, you care, you want to know how they are, or if you're trying to arrange something to meet them. It just means you're taking a tiny part of your day and making them included in it. And I think a lot of people miss that kind of connection with the fact that we live in such a high paced world and we're constantly going to work and we're constantly doing something. We don't always take time for each other. And I think that's how some relationships break down. We are so goal orientated when it comes to work and money and progressing and getting to that next stage of life, we forget the little things: making a cup of tea for your loved one, running them a bath, giving their shoulders a rub after they've had a bad day at work, asking how their day was, arranging to have a date night. Little things that you can spread out across an entire month or two that makes your other person feel like they're wanted, needed, cared for. It can mean so much to your partner that you just put a little note in their lunchbox saying, I love you. It can be just be so sweet. Now, I'm not asking everybody to be soppy, but showing your partner that you love them, you care for them, not necessarily on a daily basis. We're not asking you to go over the top, but just showing a bit of warmth to your partner every day, even a small amount. It keeps that relationship going because it shows that you care for each other. It shows that you want to be together. And sometimes the little things can make a big impression on somebody. And that's personally how I feel. I don't have a partner, but if I did, they would get small signs of affections because I'd want to appreciate them and I'd want to show I love them and I'd want to show I'd want to be with them, because why would you be with them if you didn't want that kind of relationship with them? And the last question for today, again, is about partners. What are the most important qualities you'd like your partner to have? Well, as I am single and, of course, ready to mingle, my qualities I seek in a partner. Ooh. Honesty, as we discussed earlier. Loyalty, not cheating and stuff like that. Qualities in a partner, making me laugh. I love someone that can make me laugh. Um, Qualities. Attractiveness doesn't have to be a model, but someone that takes care of themselves. Like, I instinctively take care of my hair, I take care of my health, my well-being, obviously my mental health, physical health, go to the gym, stuff like that. So I like someone that takes care of themselves. I also like someone that likes to go out, whether it's going for weekends away, wants to get out there and do stuff, a bit of, get up and go kind of attitude. I don't know. There are a lot of qualities that we ask for in people, and sometimes you can ask for too many. Like, if you're going on a dating profile, they'll ask what qualities you look for in a person. It's usually honesty, loyalty, um, you know, making you laugh, usually tall, dark, and handsome. I haven't been on a dating site in ages, so I don't know all the fandangled stuff nowadays. It's been a good few years since I've been on a dating site. But, although we look for qualities in people, remember, you're not just looking for qualities in a partner, they're looking for qualities in you as well. It's a two-way street. So if you're looking for loyalty, honesty, someone loving, caring, they're going to expect the same from you. It's a two-way relationship, which is where some relationships come unstuck because one's putting in more effort than the other. So, yeah, qualities are important, but don't fixate on them, because you want that kind of freedom to be you still. You don't want to like put yourself into a tiny box. But, things like loyalty, being genuine, being honest are things that you really do need to have, or you want to look for in a person, because they're the things that keep the relationship going. It keeps it genuine, it keeps it together. But yeah, most important, I think, like I said, is honesty, caring, affection, just generally love being around me, I guess, and wanting to go out and wanting to hang with you, and little texts in the morning and that. There's so many qualities that somebody can have. But you don't want someone to have like an entire list of qualities that you need, because you don't want to be on a checklist for somebody, or you'll never find that perfect person. Sometimes, Mr. Perfect just isn't the one for you. But no one's 100% perfect. So if you lack in some qualities, does it matter? Not necessarily, because there's always somebody out there for you. I've always believed that there is somebody for everybody. You just have to find that person. And that's where we're going to lead the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. This is It's Not All Doom and Gloom with the Midnight Raven. We'll just run through the questions again. Question 56. Does your family support you when it comes to your life decisions? What are your 3 deal breakers? Would you say you have a strong support network? What love language do you value the most from a partner? And what are the most important qualities you'd like your partner to have? So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. This will probably be the last one of 2024. More than likely, I'm not going to get round to doing another one. So I'm going to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy mental health 2025. If I do get round to filming another one, obviously you will see it. It will probably be more towards New Year. But if you want to support this podcast, you can donate to PayPal, Super Chat, or Super Thanks, or become a member. Remember, only divulge in the comments as much or as little as you want. We are in this little mental health journey together, and I will see you all very soon in 2025. I love you all. Have a Merry Christmas. Bye, guys.